Hi, this is Robbie Krieger from The Doors, and you're listening to Rockarazzi.
So I learned something new in just our brief chat that you were a golfer from the beginning.
Yeah, I learned golf when I was a kid. My dad was a heavy duty golfer, and he took my brother and I out when we were maybe 6, 7 years old, and so I learned early. And sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. It's good in that you learn how to do it from an early age, but then again you might learn some bad habits that it takes you maybe 50 years to unlearn.
Right.
Which is what I've been trying to do.
Hey, since we're a music site, right? I'm just curious to know what you listen to.
Stuff like John Coltrane and the late 50s, early 60s jazz is my favorite stuff. But I learned, I listen to everything. I like some of the new groups too. Like, in fact, I just played on a show with a group called the Dandy Warhols, and they were really good. So I like everything. I like some rap. I like blues. Everything.
What do you think that Jim would have thought about shows like American Idol? Do you think that he would have been into that kind of stuff?
You know what? I could never figure out what Jim would have done or what he would have thought about something. He would always think the opposite of what you think he would think. But I really have no idea what he would think. Yeah, I know he loved new stuff and he loved new ideas, and I bet you he would have been into it.
So, given that the Hollywood community has unfortunately lost a number of icons in the last 3 months, from Michael Jackson to Farrah Fawcett, Ed McMahon, I'm just curious to know if you yourself think about legacy at all. Does that come into your daily mindset?
About legacy?
Yeah.
What do you mean by legacy?
In terms of how do you want to be remembered, or how do you want the music to be remembered? Is that important to you?
I think people are going to remember you by what you did, and I hope that people are still listening to the Doors, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years from now. People still listen to Mozart and Beethoven, so I think the good stuff will come to the top, and people will still be listening to it far down the line, I hope.
So on the drive over here, I'm listening to K-Rock, and they're playing "People Are Strange" by Echo and the Bunnymen.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard this cover yet?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
You like it?
I do. Yeah. In fact, Ray Manzarek played on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He might have even produced it. I forget. But yeah, it's a good rendition. Yeah, there's a record called what the heck is it called? Anyway, there's an album of Doors, covers by a lot of different bands, and it's some pretty good ones on there. It's, Stoned Immaculate is what it's called.
Cool.
You can look it up on iTunes.
So you've been through a number of kind of fill-in lead singers in the past, right? From Ian Astbury, I believe Eddie Vedder sat in at one point.
Right.
Now Brett from Fuel. Is there anybody that stands out to you that when you're on stage you're like, wow, that this guy was really channeling the old Morrison?
All these guys that have played with us at certain times, I really get, I have that feeling that,
right.
Wow, Jim might be coming through, and so but not one any more than any other, But when people try to sing with us and do Jim, we always tell them, Ray and I tell them, don't do Jim Morrison, just do yourself and sing the song, sing the Doors song in your own way, and it'll be the best that way.
So I watched a really old interview with you guys, the original Doors.
Yeah.
And I found it fascinating when Jim talks about, they kind of ask him and you guys, what you think music would be like in the future.
Yeah.
And Jim says, alludes to the fact that I think it's going to all be done with computers.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing foresight, right?
Yeah, he had, he seemed to, he had some kind of idea of what the future would bring, but unfortunately he didn't have the idea of what his future would be. But, people think that he was obsessed with death and all this stuff, and he really wasn't. He was interested in death. He wanted to know what happens when you die, and he was very, very interested in that, but it wasn't like he wanted to die. But unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 27. So, I wish he was still here. I'm sure he would love to be here at this event, and maybe next lifetime.
Right. What